In this video, I'm going to share with you an emergency fund hack, something that I've been doing for years and has been something that I've taught people for years because it's so powerful. So we all know how important it is to have an emergency fund for those times when you just can't pay your bills, or when things go wrong and you lose your job, or you get laid off, or you get right-sized or left-sized, or even if you just quit your job because you're sick and tired of working. You've got to have some money set aside to be able to take care of the expenses that you have on a monthly basis. And there's a hack that I've been teaching for years and practicing for years that I think you're going to want to learn about and think you're going to want to know. And I'm going to share that hack with you in this video. So make sure you watch to the end so that you make sure that you're taking full advantage of the most efficient and effective ways to build an emergency fund. Welcome to the channel. My name is Paris Clough, and this is Financial Self-Reliance. I love helping people manage, protect, and grow their money. I hope that you get value out of this video. I hope that you hit like and subscribe so that you can help the channel grow, so that more people can become financially literate and financially self-reliant. So we all know that to have an emergency fund means that you should have anywhere from 3 to 6 months worth of expenses set aside in an account that has easy enough access to so that you can get to it in the event of an emergency, but it's also far enough away from you that you're not tempted to use it to just buy things on a day-to-day basis. So the fundamentals of an emergency fund is that you want to go through all of your bills, go through your budget. What are the fundamental things that you have to pay for every single month? Rent, mortgage, car payment, car insurance, cell phone, food. What are those fixed expenses that every month you have to have? And then there's the variable expenses, the things like your cable TV, your internet, what kind of subscriptions you have, your gym memberships, all the things that you don't necessarily have to have, but they're nice to have. See, if you're in a crunch situation, you just lost your job or you just quit your job and you've got to get down to bare bones, get down to the bare minimum, what are the things you're going to keep and what are the things you're going to get rid of? The things you're going to keep are those fixed expenses, those things that make sure that you have shelter, that you have clothing, that you have transportation, that you have communication, and that you have some way to eat. Those next set of expenses, which are your variable expenses, are those expenses that you can probably do without. You don't need to have a 100-channel cable TV. You don't need to have super fast internet. Well, maybe you do if you're working online and you're trying to find a job online. But you don't have to have 3 subscriptions to the different things that you don't really watch or use or go to, and the gym memberships that you have that you're not really using. So those are the variable expenses that you can kind of really eliminate or get rid of. First thing you want to do is get 3 months of your fixed expenses. Take all of those fixed expenses for 1 month, add it up, and then multiply it by 3, and that's your minimum balance. Now, one of the main categories that you're going to put money into is food, because you have to eat. If you quit your job, if you get laid off, no matter what happens to you financially, you have to eat every day. And several times a day. So food is one of those things that you have to have. You can't get away from it. And so my recommendation, what my hack is, what I've been doing for many years and what I've been teaching people to do for many years, is to develop a food storage. That's right. I know it sounds weird. It sounds kind of end of the world, doomsday, whatever. It's not. It's actually smart. It's something that you should do, and everybody should have at least 3 months worth of food, of staple food that you eat on a regular basis. So what are the things that you could eat for breakfast? Now, you might have cereal. Well, what is that cereal? Go buy enough cereal that you could eat that cereal for 3 months and not have to buy another box of that cereal. If you eat oatmeal, go buy a bunch of oatmeal so that you have enough. Figure out how much you eat every day and then multiply that by 90, and then that's how much breakfast you need to have in your closet, whether it's oats, whether it's cereal, whether it's whatever it is. Make sure that you have enough food, you can have breakfast every single day. The next thing you want to do is make sure you can have lunch every single day. So what are some things that you eat for lunch that you can keep on a long-term basis? One of the things I recommend is soups, canned soup. You can have canned soup stored for days. And there's a lot of flavors that you can have. There's stews, there's soups, there's some fantastic flavors that you can have. And every single one of these cans can last forever. Well, not forever, but they can last for many years. So if you had 90 cans of stew or 90 cans of chicken noodle soup or 90 cans of, I don't know, some kind of soup that you can eat and enjoy, you're going to be set. Another thing you can do along with that is have enough rice that you can cook rice and add it to the soup to give it a little more bulk. Sometimes just 1 can of soup isn't enough, but if you have a can of soup plus a cup of rice or a half a cup of rice that goes with it, I promise you're going to be full after eating that meal. So that's a great way to have lunch. If you're getting value out of this video so far, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button for me. Same thing with dinners. You can have more soups, more stews, more whatever for dinner, What I chose to do was have a bunch of spaghetti. So I can store up, I have 15 or 20 boxes of spaghetti noodles, and I have about 12 or 13 spaghetti sauces, and I have about 10 or 15 pounds of meat in my freezer so I can cook the meat, put it in with this spaghetti, and I can actually make one spaghetti meal and have it last for 2 or 3 days if you make the right amount. So spaghetti can be a great way for you to have a dinner every single night. Now, if you don't like spaghetti, find out what you do like. Something that I actually also enjoy for dinners, I have several pounds of rice, and then I cook meatballs. I have meatballs in my freezer. I can store meatballs forever because they're in the freezer, and I can have meatballs and rice. I can have frozen chicken in my freezer, and that lasts for several months as well, as long as you keep it frozen. So if you can take frozen chicken, you put it into a pressure cooker, you cook it or you boil it and you shred it, and you have it on top of your rice. And then you put a little sweet and sour sauce that you keep 10 or 12 bottles of sweet and sour sauce in your pantry or in your storage. And now you can have a chicken and rice, sweet and sour, or teriyaki sauce, and you have a rice bowl with chicken, shredded chicken, and it's delicious. So what do you eat every day, or what could you eat every day that you could store long term? Now, honestly, things like mayonnaise, mustard, ketchup, ranch dressings, a lot of those sauces, they'll last 90 days. If you look at the expiration date, it's not for 6 months or a year sometimes that those expire. So as long as you rotate through, so for example, don't just buy the item and then stick it on a shelf and then never use it. Buy the stuff that you're using so that when you go to use it, you can pull from your storage and then you buy a new one and you replace it at the back. So for example, I have 5 or 6 bottles of ranch in my storage. When my family runs out of ranch, I don't go to the store to buy it. I actually just pull it from my storage and I use the bottle of ranch dressing for that next week. And then when I go shopping, I'll buy another one to replace the one that I just used. So you're constantly rotating through your perishable items. Perishable items are those items that won't last for more than a year. You know, the mayonnaise, the Miracle Whip, the mustards, the ketchups, the ranch dressings, the sweet and sour sauce, the teriyaki sauce, although teriyaki sauce could probably last quite a while. But the cans of soup, they'll last for a couple years. If you look at the expiration date, it's at least a couple of years. So you're definitely going to be able to rotate through those. So make sure that your food storage is food that you would actually eat. That way, if there's a shortage, which you're hearing a lot about it in the news, I'm sure, or there's some kind of issue where you've lost your job or you quit your job and you still need to eat, you have plenty of food available for you. One of the things that I also like to do, not just for food, is different items that I buy. I always have more than one. There's an old saying that a good friend of mine shared with me. He says, 1 is none and 2 is 1. So I'll get things like shampoo, deodorant, and I'll put 2 or 3 in my storage so that if I ever run out in the middle of the week, I can just go to my storage, grab my deodorant, and I don't have to worry about it because I have it already on hand, and then I just buy something that next week or the next time I go shopping to replace what I use. So I have shampoos, I have deodorants, I have toothpaste, I have toothbrush, I have bar soap, I have, you name it, all kinds of things that I continue to use and consume. I have a ton of toilet paper, by the way. I don't know if you remember back a couple years ago where that was a huge run on the supermarkets, was buying up all the toilet paper. So I didn't have to worry. I always have a stash of toilet paper. I probably have, for my family, probably 2 months worth of toilet paper. I could literally go 2 months without buying another roll of toilet paper and just be fine. So those are the types of things that I have in my life, in my personal storage, and those are the things that I have as part of my emergency fund. So the cash that I save up, or the money that I put into savings accounts, goes to pay the bills, goes to pay the car payment, goes to pay the insurance, goes to pay the cell phone, goes to pay for the things that I can't pay for any other way. But if you have food storage, you're fine. You can actually go to the food storage and eat straight from your storage and be totally fine for several months if you make sure you get the right foods, the foods that you'll eat, and you store them properly. So great things to get are soups, rice, beans are great. If you like beans, you can store all kinds of grains. Oats are great for storage. There's several places that you can go to get other things like sugar for storage. You can have longer term storage. There's some storage places that last for 25 years. And those are fantastic places to be able to buy storage and keep that for a long time. There are a lot of ways for you to get creative so that you don't have to have a bunch of cash on hand so that you can actually have food and staples. One of the other problems that might be facing us is that if this great reset or the stock market crashes or if our cash becomes worthless because it goes digital and all these other things, food is tangible. Food doesn't go away. You can literally have food no matter what happens to currencies, no matter what happens to fiat currencies, no matter what happens to cash, the market, the economy, the jobs, whatever. Having food on hand will get you through. It's a smart way to be ready in case anything happens, and it's a very reasonable hack for your emergency fund. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you missed the last one that I made, you can find a link to it right here. Please subscribe to the channel, and up here you'll find a video that YouTube thinks that you might like. I hope you have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.